Hi, this is Doug Tolan with Know Your VA Loan. Doing this video here is going to be my favorite because this is my favorite thing about my VA loan entitlement that I've used and I've encouraged other people to use, and that's paying off debt when you buy a house. It's the only loan that you can do it on is a VA loan, no other loan. FHA, conventional, RD, makes no difference. None of them allow this. Only VA. And here's how that VA is unique, is their definition of seller concessions. In most places, if you mention seller concessions, well, that just means, hey, the seller's paying some closing cost, and that's considered a seller concession. But not for VA. It's the seller concession is a true concession, or what other loans would call an inducement. And, they're inducing, where the seller can induce you to buy their house. And, well, we'll get into that. But a seller concession is considered with VA, their definition of it is anything of value that's included in the transaction that the seller's given that is not customary and required to pay or provide, in a normal situation on any other loan. But the seller concessions, they can include anything like paying your funding fee, prepayment of buyers, your property taxes, your homeowner's insurance, because you have to pay a homeowner's insurance ahead for a year. And you also, some places make you pay property taxes ahead of time versus in the arrears. It depends on what state you live in. In Louisiana, where I live, there is actually one parish in the whole state that makes you pay your property taxes up front. And of course, it's Orleans Parish, where New Orleans is. They're high on everything. But anyway, gifts such as televisions, microwaves, patio furniture, riding lawnmowers, any of that they can include. If this was an FHA loan you were doing, and say the seller said, I'll leave you my patio furniture and my riding lawnmower. Well, they're going to put that on the contract because most realtors out there will just put anything on the contract, even though they should never put that on the contract. But the reason being is on an FHA loan, the appraiser now, when he gets that contract and goes appraises that house, he has to give value to that patio furniture and that riding lawnmower. Then whatever that value is must be subtracted from the appraised value of the house. And as a lender, we got to take that value and take it off the purchase price of the house. And now the customer's new purchase price is whatever the lower amount is after you remove the patio furniture and the riding lawnmower. Well, the seller's not going to hear that. That just leads to the customer having to bring more money to the table. But you, as a veteran, or a service member, does not have to deal with that. There's all kinds of, you can do temporary buy downs, buy points, you pay points to lower your interest rate. They can do that. But here's my favorite. Payoff of credit balances are judgments on behalf of the buyers. Now, they could have just said pay off credit balances, but they included judgments in here. I believe this is I took this wording directly from VA, and the reason being is because they wanted underwriters to understand that if you had a judgment or a collection, this was a way you could pay it and not have to bring the money out of your pocket. Because most underwriters that are not familiar with VA would tell you have to pay that out of your pocket, but VA allows the seller to pay it. But this, and again, I took this wording right from VA. Seller concessions do not include payment of the buyer's closing costs or prepayment of points as appropriate in the market. Now, this is a very important fact here because you're going to get some blowback on this. I'm telling you, you're going to be more educated than most realtors out there. If you've watched all my videos, then you're going to be more educated than probably 90% of the realtors and probably 50% of the loan officers out there because they're not familiar with this. I don't care if you call one that specializes in VA loans. Those guys, they're paint by numbers. It's in the box. Check off each step. This is not one of the steps that they're familiar with, and it causes them some concern, and they'll get all confused and their head will explode, and your head will want to explode because you're sitting there having to teach your loan officer how to do his job. But this is, like I said, my favorite thing about VA loan. As a loan officer, I have some lot of times when I get a VA loan, I look at the whole situation of my borrower, and if they've got a debt that I can pay off and make their overall monthly outgo better with their new house, and especially if they're going up in payment, maybe they were renting someplace for $800 a month, and now they're going up to $1,300 a month. It's a $500 increment. Maybe if we can knock off a $200 or $300 bill they have, maybe a boat, motorcycle, ATV, or even a car. I just recently paid off a veteran's car to help him better afford the house. He could afford it with having the car payment, but this was just to make him better afford the house and make him more comfortable. And there was room there because the house he was buying was very expensive. So a lot of this is going to pertain to how much you have to play with, because there is a limit. Here it is. There's a 4% limit on any seller concession or combination of concessions which exceed 4% of the established reasonable value of the property. Now, when you do a VA loan, the VA appraiser goes out there, he puts a value on that house, and it's certified by VA. And then what happens is, so that's your certified value. Let's just say the house appraised for $250, you're buying it for $225. The 4% is based off the $250, not the purchase price of the $225. Again, that's in direct contrast to an FHA conventional loan or anything else, because with them, that loans, everything is based on appraised value or purchase price, whichever is lower. So VA is different on this. So you could even say if you were doing a loan and you didn't really initially set up concessions, but the house came in at $250 and you were buying it for $225, you could, at that point, before you're not done with your loan, you could even say, hey, I want the seller to have a concession. I want to raise the sales price by 4%, and I want to use that seller concession to do this, and this. So keep that in mind. You can do that too. But there's so many, I could sit and talk about this all day, and this is going to be my longest video because this is a little bit more complicated subject, but I don't want to keep you on here forever. I don't want you to turn me off. So I would rather stop now and remind you that I'm Doug Tolan with Know Your VA Loans, and I'm here for you either by phone, email, or you can message me on Facebook, and I'll be happy to discuss your individual situation and help you understand how you can get the most out of your VA home loan entitlement. That's what I'm here for. That's what we're doing here with Know Your VA Loan. Thank you, and we'll send another video soon.